So it's time to debunk Mary Poppins and the sugar goes down with some medicine, okay? Right, so I've got Shiv here and she's going to talk about sugar and which ones to choose and which ones to get rid of on your diet. Now remember, your body is a cellular body, and I always tell you about your cellular levels and how you're supposed to feed them. Now sugar is a massive part of this. Now if you're picking up stuff off a shelf and it's actually been there and it's been stored there for ages, that's clearly going to be the wrong thing that you're supposed to be taking. So I'm going to pass it over to Shiv, and Shiv's going to explain just a little bit about sugar. Go for it, Shivster.
Okay, so sugar. What is sugar? So sugar is simply a carbohydrate, and it's in a lot of our foods. So one way we can look at what sugar has in foods is by looking at packets. So if you're guilty of not having time to, we don't always have time to prep our foods, freshly made. We're all working mums and dads out there with children, possibly, hectic lifestyles. So I do get that, I do understand that. So it's about looking at, first of all, the sugars that we're consuming, them hidden sugars as well, the refined sugars. So actually you have naturally contained sugars within our fruits, but again you have the refined type of sugars. So you'll find that in your cereals, processed foods. So it's just about looking at the back of the packet, looking at the nutritional part of what is in them foods.
That's our baby. We had a baby 2 weeks ago, and she's been doing classes, having a workout already. So if you got excuses, this lady is not going to listen to any of them. All right, she knows what she's talking about.
So why do we reach for sugar? So I think sometimes we reach for that sugar rush because we're feeling, a little bit down and we want a pick-me-up. Okay, so sometimes we look for that kind of, it won't hurt just to have that one chocolate bar. A little bit of chocolate cake won't hurt, I can work that off. And that's all good and well telling yourself that. But if you're quite a sedentary person, that sugar, unfortunately, is going to get stored in your body as fat, so it's extra calories you're consuming. So the idea, if you can, is to reduce the sugar within your diet. Okay, so if you are in control, and we all are, that's our choice to make as well. So we can make a choice of what we consume. So if we have a cup of tea, coffee, we can choose to put sugar in that or not, or a substitute. So if you really, really can't think you can come away from sugar, then start to reduce that intake. So if you have 2 sugars in your tea, then see if you can just come down to 1, or maybe think about adding an alternative into that. So an Agave nectar, so it's a plant-based honey. It's not honey, but it's a nectar from a plant, or a little sprinkle of cinnamon possibly. It still gives you that kind of sweet taste, but it's a lot less calorific and more health benefits from it. Also with the sugar, so say we have a piece of cake, chocolate cake for instance, we normally go to that because, like I said before, we're looking for that high. But once we've got that high, then there's that slump that happens, unfortunately. So normally around that kind of 3 o'clock time period, we all look for maybe, I'm feeling a little bit peckish, I'd like something sweet, especially if you've got a sweet tooth as well. So, we aim to look to get something. Then, not long after, the system goes down. So then we're like all lethargic, all tired, wondering why that's happening, and then potentially look to get that other piece of cake or something else sweet within the diet. Before then, we go home and make our meal. So we're just adding on extra empty calories that we don't need. Okay, it's so easy said than done, I understand that, but if you're looking to reduce body fat, looking at reducing risks of diabetes, obesity, heart disease, you know, just them three, you know, that's just three things that I'm pointing out. Then look to see if you can find alternatives, like I've mentioned already. You know, and that's it. I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible.
Perfect. I think that's pretty cool. So there you have it. Like, Shiv's going to be tuning in with us and coming out with ideas and ways to try to beat the dragon, okay, as they call it. Try to come off sugar as much as you can. Try to keep to the natural sugars the best you can, and try to go for different stuff. Just try to do different stuff, just small different things, because then you're accepted to change. Anyway, from us today, that's Sugar with Shivster and
Little Bella Vive.
Bella Vive. See you later, guys.
Bye.